Ladies and gentlemen, it's rare that we get a moment like this. It's rare that we get to see a side of Donald Trump of beef. No, that this lady can explain to us. Quite frankly, Ainsley Earhart, is it Ainsley Earhart? First Lady Melania Trump full interview on Fox and Friends. This is for her book, not for the presidency and not for the candidacy of her husband. Just for the record.
Sometimes, in order to succeed, you must be willing to take risks.
What?
Did the risks early on as a model prepare you for life as the first?
Look at this. Yeah, this is not about her husband's candidacy. This is about her book. This is it's one of the only things that she can, she gets to keep every penny on, right? And also, creepy cover. I'm just saying. It's a little weird.
Lady. I think nothing prepared me more to be First Lady in front of the world than the fashion industry.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. It certainly wouldn't be charity work or public work or volunteerism or anything. No, of course, obviously, the modeling industry really is what the First Lady's role is about.
The fashion industry, it's glamorous, but it's at the same time very tough. And as everybody judges you, look at you a certain way. So it's...
Yeah, but you don't actually have to do anything.
It can be mean world as well.
Yeah. I heard Ghislaine Maxwell was kind of rude sometimes. Not to you, obviously.
So nothing prepared me more for this world than fashion.
Because you didn't do anything else? Real quick, I don't want to help you out. Maybe motherhood? Maybe, caring about another human being more than yourself, and that experience as a parent that kind of makes you look to a future you may not be a part of because you're see where I'm going with this? Nah, fuck it. Just modeling. You're right. My bad. I don't know what I was thinking.
It gives you a thick skin.
So it was August 27th,
Wait a minute. I didn't know Trump was a model. His skin looks like it was made out of burlap.
96, and you had this modeling contract. You have 2 suitcases.
With who?
A carry-on and a passport. That is all you brought with you to America.
And my portfolio.
And your portfolio.
That was very important.
Absolutely. Yes. You need to find a job.
Yeah, absolutely. Or your visa will run out and then, not a job. What's the word? Husband.
So 10 years, and you hit the ground running. You didn't even go to your apartment. You immediately went to work.
Correct.
Tell us about that.
Well, when I arrived to New York City, I still remember it was Tuesday afternoon, early afternoon. I went directly from the airport to the agency. So I start right away. You sign the contract, they copy your...
You mean that's because you were here on a work visa?
Portfolio.
That you overstayed.
And you start. So...
Yeah, see, I didn't, you know what? I should try modeling. I had no idea it was so easy. So all I need is a suitcase and a carry-on and a passport, and I just show up at a modeling agency and you just start? Cool.
So it was an exciting time.
Yeah. The 90s.
10 years later, after arriving here, you find yourself raising your right hand and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance and becoming an American citizen. You had no idea at that moment you would go on to become the First Lady of the United States of America. What did that day become?
Yeah, especially as the third wife of someone.
A citizen mean to you?
I was very proud. I went through the process, and that day was a big celebration. Was very, very proud.
I mean, I don't need to hear anymore. I mean, she's captured it.
So meeting Donald Trump How did you meet him?
We met at a party, and you could
Whose party? Because it wasn't it John Casablancas or whatever his fucking name is, and Ghislaine Maxwell kind of organized the party, and Jeffrey Epstein was there, and
read a whole chapter in the book.
Yes, you were at the Kit Kat Club, and
Yes.
there was that moment of connection. And then you refused to give him your number, and you asked for his number, and you went on a modeling shoot in the Caribbean. And while you're down there, you couldn't stop thinking about him. And so you came home, and you called him. What happened?
We went to on the first date, if you could call it a date.
I probably wouldn't. I'd call it. Somewhere between oral surgery and an appendectomy.
Because it was mixed with professionalism, too.
Correct,
Right?
and I completely understand.
Oh, sorry. He paid you to be on the date? There's a name for that. I can't remember.
And now that I know him more,
Yes.
it was so him. And
It is so heme.
I
agree.
liked in one way about it because I was the same, and I love the vision that he had and the connection that we had. So it was very special.
You get him.
Do you guys understand what any of that is? Have you ever heard a human relationship described that way before? Because I haven't.
Car, and he drives you to Bedford,
He didn't drive.
and outside of the city, an hour outside of the city, and he wanted to show you a business or some property that he had. So he was combining business with taking you on a first date.
And it was very nice because we were two of us alone in the car for hour and a half, and it's no other noise, no other people, because at that time he was already known and a celebrity. So it was really nice to be just two of us.
Yes. Did you fall in love?
In the back of the limo.
It was a
I'm hoping to.
connection. It was a connection.
Yes, it was literally a connection. Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made a connection between the two of them, and they came to an agreement. It's all so romantic. Jesus Christ, I'm surprised Nora Ephron hasn't made this into a movie yet.
You said our chemistry was undeniable. Our connection felt natural. In private, he revealed himself as a gentleman, displaying tenderness and thoughtfulness. Did he?
Displaying it. Yeah. Real quick. Normally, when you say someone is displaying tenderness and thoughtfulness, maybe just say what they actually did. Let the reader decide whether that's exactly what was happening. Or perhaps go, he did this little thing and described that thing, and go, I recognized later, knowing him later, that this was part of it. This was his display of tenderness.
He ever say to you in those early stages, or even in that first car ride, I'm going to be president one day?
No, we didn't discuss that
No.
time. Not.
Did he tell you eventually?
Soon,
Did you know
But soon later.
Okay, okay.
Yes, soon later.
So
not that he would be the president, but he always was involved in politics. He was very.
Yeah, he loved showing up for charities he didn't donate to, and loved glad handing with politicians if he could give them the illusion that he might bribe them at some point.
In tune what's going on in the world, and especially in this
Yeah, very in tune, especially that whole black dude not having a real birth certificate shit. That they bonded. You want to talk about a connection between these two.
country.
6 years into the relationship, it's April of 2004.
Yeah, thank you for jumping ahead. I don't need to hear anything about the first couple of years especially.
And he proposes to you.
Well, it was, first of all, it was my birthday as well. And it was a Met Gala. So it was all in one. We were all ready at home, both of us in black tie. So he.
So you're both wearing tuxedos, all right?
Proposed that time.
Describe your wedding day. It was January 22nd.
Yeah, don't tell us about what actually happened. Just tell us the dates and the party you were at and the clothes you were wearing, because I think that sells it. I don't need to. Most of us are like, Yeah, emotional blech. Just give me the details. I want to feel about this relationship the way I feel about a history test in 7th grade.
2005, it was almost a year after you were engaged, and
Yeah, by the way, this feels like an immigration interview.
you got married at Bethesda by the Sea, beautiful church down in Palm Beach, and then the reception
And then never went back.
at Mar-a-Lago. What was that day like for you and your family and your mom?
It was an exciting day.
It was exciting. Yeah, it was just exciting. I think the word I would use is exciting. You know what I mean? Obviously not beautiful. Moving is obviously important. I wouldn't use that word. Exciting. That works.
A busy day.
Yes, exciting and busy. I mean, honestly, slow down, baby, because we're getting too much romance right out of the gate. This is getting a little syrupy for me and my audience. Exciting and busy.
As every bride, you want to make sure everything goes smoothly. And
Yes, that's right. Busy, exciting, but you want it to go smoothly.
it went. We had a good day.
I'm sure.
It went. We had a good day. I think we went should have just, at some point, yeah, I'm glad you had time to pee.
There was a touching story in the book about the baptism candle. Your mom
Yes, the touching story. Tell us the touching story. Oh my God. The touching story about the baptism candle. Tell us about that.
brought this over from Slovenia. It was the candle that was lit in the church when you were baptized. You lit it at your wedding, and then you lit it again when Barron was baptized.
Yeah, cool. That's all right. Good. So did you use a lighter or a match? And was Donald involved in any of this candle nonsense?
And you still have it, I assume.
I still have it.
Really? You didn't throw it out right afterwards after it made the trip across the sea? You still have it? Good. Okay. Is there a picture of it somewhere? Cool. I just want to establish the facts, ma'am. Because think of this not so much as an autobiography as more of an alibi that you'll use in court later when you avoid going down with the ship that is your husband's business and personal life.
Interesting. I was baptized on Donald's birthday,
Really?
June 14.
Wow.
The dates
Yeah.
connects.
Yes.
That is good. Yeah. So look at that. And the irony of it, that's what I'm struck by. You were baptized on his birthday and he's never been baptized because he thinks it's a bunch of shit. But then he's tricked other people who've gotten baptized into thinking he gives a fuck. And that was the day that you were. It's amazing.
So my mother, she thought about it and she brought it here to the United States.
Oh, wow. So she thought about it? Wow. And she brought it here. And then you lit it twice. Did you guys hold the thing together with you? No. You told her not to ask you that because it didn't happen. Okay.
And you say in the book about becoming a mother, you said, I stepped back from public life, no longer wanted the glamorous photo shoots and the jet-setting lifestyle.
Really bad time to cut to a glamour shot of you and your kid. I'm just saying, there are a lot of fucked up pictures of her and Barron. It's not a good time to go to them. I would stay with the 2-shot.
And my career took a back seat. Was that a hard change for you?
It was not.
No, why?
Because most supermodels don't continue modeling after they've had a child because of the nature of being a model.
Because I had a different
And your husband was out playing golf and fucking porn stars?
purpose in life.
Best day of your life when they put the baby in your arms?
Something changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Something changes. You're like, your hands are empty and now they are full of crying poop machine also for having, so something changes that, you're holding and then you're not.
Something changes.
There's a picture in the book, and you're working at the desk, and you have Barron in one of those small little motorized cars. His children's books are all over the floor. You have your papers all over the desk. And
Yeah, we saw the shot. I got to say, it looks posed, but sure.
I looked at that picture and I said, this is a working mom's life. We can all.
Yeah, except she didn't work. I'm just saying, she didn't actually work. She didn't have a job. She just told you her career took a backseat. It wasn't a working mom. She was just a mom sitting behind a desk for no fucking reason. You notice she's not sitting on the floor with him. It didn't jump to a picture of her we've seen a professional picture of her, and then why is she, what? Honestly, this is the picture. What are you doing? What are you working on? What's the work? Will you pick it out more like gaudy gold spray painted furniture for the fucking house?
Books, his children's books are all over the floor. You have your papers all over the desk.
Yeah, your papers.
And I looked at that picture and I said, this is a working mom's life.
Except it isn't.
We can all relate to this. Everything's chaotic, everything's hectic, but it's so much fun. And everyone tells us to enjoy those moments because they're fleeting. And your kids grow up and it just flies.
Yeah, excuse me, miss. She has no idea what the fuck you're talking about.
By. When you look at that picture, what was happening in that moment?
Yeah, and if you need, I can say what you were thinking again, and you can just repeat what I said, if that helps. Because I was given, the description that they wanted to push you in that direction. Your publicist gave me a list of things like set her up to make her sound like a caring, busy mom, and we'll show that picture, and you can talk about it, and just let her know what she's supposed to say.
When I see it, that was the time that I did QVC collection, my jewelry
Which
and
sold out in 45 minutes.
It did, yes, was very successful. So I was doing all at the same time, working, playing with Baron. He has his own time with, his car and his books, and we talking. So I think it's
He has his own time with his car and his books, and we're talking.
very important that we show our children that we are working too, to give them an example how life is.
Even if it's pretend work.
That they see us, that we are productive, that we have an ideas, that ideas comes to life. And that's how I was showing to Baron.
And did you,
Yeah, that's how you were showing to Barron.
Donald Trump, did you ever talk about having more children? Did you want a larger family?
I was always perfectly fine with one, and Donald was encouraging to have more, and I said
Is that the same? Is that the other Melania?
I'm completely fine with one because it's very busy life, and I know how busy he is. And
Busy. Why is that word keep? By the way, there's a difference between work and busyness, right? You just flitting around, filling your time with a bunch of bullshit is busy. Raising a child is not busy work. It is your life. I gotta say, I've always had this fucking chip on my shoulder about this whole idea. It's like, the hardest job in the world is being a mother. It's not a fucking job. It's your life. Right? It's not a job. Is it work? Yes. In that it's challenging, but it's not work. It's not the words are not, synonymous in their meaning. And just saying busy sounds like, well, you do this shit until they grow up enough to fucking go to the bathroom themselves.
I'm in charge of everything, so that's why it's just perfect.
So Donald was on Brian Kilmeade's show last weekend, and Brian was asking you
He was?
about your relationship, and he said, Brian, she really, really does love me. So what do you love most about your husband?
So you're just gonna take his word for it. You're not gonna go, do you love him?
His humor, his personality, his kindness, his.
Oh, I see. We're just not even going anywhere near a real answer.
He's very special.
He's very special. Have these people met?
His positivity.
His positivity. We are a nation in decline, and I'm positive about that.
His energy, it's unbelievable.
You're right, I don't believe it. I think it's largely Adderall and crushed methy Sudafed.
Yeah, so we have a beautiful relationship.
We see these clips of Donald Trump giving a lady at the cash register $100 to pay for a grocery.
That was prearranged. That went to the people who own the place, who are supporters of his already, and it was campaign funds, and it's illegal.
Groceries. The little boy with a rare disease, he invites him to the rally in New York, and the little
And gives him a bunch of MAGA merch.
boy cries when he receives a letter on his birthday from Donald Trump. Donald Trump he calls all the service members, their family members, when they lose their lives. These are stories.
No. You see the look on her face? No. There were 96 dignified transfers during Trump's time in office. He went to 4 of them. At the 4th one of the parents got angry with him and blamed him for the death of their son, and he stopped going. He sent Mike Pence from that point on. He skipped 92 of them.
A lot of people, you're not going to see this on other networks. Is that the man he is?
That's the man he is, yes.
One word to describe him.
Edit.
And what would that be? 1 or 2 words?
One word to describe, 1 or 2 words, 5 words, but you know.
Caring especially for this country.
Caring, especially for the country. Not so much the family, but...
And what do the 2 of you like to do for fun? If you're
Oh, yeah, that's what we do. What do you like to do for fun? What's the fun stuff?
not working.
To have dinner, sometimes.
Yeah, dinner. So fun. I agree. That's what it is. You know, what are you going to have? What do we do for fun? Dinner. Dinner, I think. Dinner's fun. Dinner's super fun. That'd be fun, right?
Sometimes quiet dinner or dinner with friends. And
yeah, quiet dinner is fun, or a dinner with friends is fun, but eating mostly, a lot of eating. He thinks eating is fun. Sitting at a really nice table that, you know, costs tens of thousands of dollars from some, you know, estate sale in France, you know, a long time ago from, you know, a dead lord or lady or something like that, and eating fast food on it. That's fun.
listen to the music.
Yeah, listen to the music, okay? That's fun. You know, super fun. It's so fun. Have dinner and listen to the music. I don't know where the music comes from. It might already be in your head.
All kind of different musics.
All kind of different musics. Village People and Lee Greenwood. Village People. And then a big playlist of artists who can't stand him, but he listens to their music and totally misses the point of the lyrics.
I hear he likes to be the DJ.
He likes to be the DJ, and it's very
So you're saying he likes to be the DJ?
fun night when he does that.
When you married,
Yeah, it is. It's fun when he DJs. That's, yeah, DJT, baby. That's what it is. He just puts on his headphones and he's fucking wiggity whacking it.
Donald Trump, he already had 4 children, and you talk about that in the book, and it would seem so fun to have just so much life and children.
Yeah, it's so fun to, you know, to be with somebody who already has 4 kids. You know, that's so fun. Like, I think about it, I'm like, that's fun.
Around you. You said I gave
Said no one ever. That's just weird. I mean, it's fine, and it's family. Why would the fact that your partner has family from like children from another marriage, and that person is still alive, by the way, why would that be fun?
everyone their own space, grounded in love and respect. You didn't always agree, but acknowledged differing viewpoints. So what advice do you have for blending?
That's so good. Yeah, what great advice. I mean, I had no idea. I'm starting to get a little teary right now because I didn't realize it would be so raw.
Families.
To take
Hold on.
individual as they are, you cannot control anyone.
Why did my headphones just? Oh, there we go. Why did my headphones disconnect? Can reconnect you? Thank you.
You
Silly,
could
silly things.
control only
Silly,
your
silly
own behavior,
things. Hold on.
your
My,
own words. Everybody's
I
control.
touched my. And go.
I'm not even in control of my child. He's his own
Hold on, I missed that part of back up a little bit to the question because she sounds like she's actually saying something.
Blended family.
to take individual as they are. You cannot control anyone. You could control only your own behavior, your own words. Everybody's in control of own self. I'm not.
This, I gotta say, this is, it's a little too Christmassy, the way she's talking. You know what I mean? Just a little too. Everyone is only in control of themselves. It's, God, I feel like I'm sitting around having eggnog with them at Christmas.
Not in control of my husband. I'm not in control.
That's definitely true. That you didn't, we did not need to be told that.
Control of his children.
Obviously, neither is he.
I'm not even in control of my child.
Well, I mean, up to the point they're 18, I think there's at least some level of. Yes.
He's his own person.
Yeah, but also a child. So therefore, you are responsible for having control of your children to some degree. It doesn't mean you have to be controlling. That's not this. Oh dear.
And we all have yes and no's, and we are all individual.
I agree. That part, normally, I would disagree with most of what she's saying. But we all have yeses and nos, and we're all individuals. I'm not. Shh.
Once you lead your life with respect and love, that's all what it matters.
Baron
Yep.
now, he's so
Yeah, if you live it with love and respect, that's all that matters. That and sort of, if he fucks around with a porn star and maybe pays for an abortion or two, you get over it. Like a school shooting.
handsome, and we've enjoyed watching him grow up. I'm very proud of you for keeping his life private. I think that's important. Baron's now in college. What was that like for you? What advice can you give all of us who are a little nervous about that day because we just love our children so much? What's it like?
Well, getting a scholarship really helps pay for it. And I think it's important that they have a job, perhaps, something that matters to them. And I'm fucking with you.
Like being an empty nester.
I could not say I'm an empty nester. I don't feel that way. I raised Baron as our own person and gave him his own yes and no's. I respect.
Okay, I am cutting her a little bit of slack for English being her second language, or maybe her third, but that's not a thing.
That. It was his decision to come here, that he wants to be in New York and
Right, but he's an adult now.
study in New York and live in his home, and I respect that. And he's
Sorry, to stay home while he goes to school?
incredible young man. I'm very proud of what he
Have you met him?
grew up to. His strength, his intelligence, his knowledge, his kindness.
Other words?
It's admirable. And
His shoes, his choice in jackets, his enjoyment of orange juice, and also his ability to use a napkin and not chew with his mouth open.
he's enjoying his college days.
Good. That's important. That's good. Yeah, I was worried about that. So he is. He's enjoying. It's good. It's good. It's good. He's enjoying his college days. Okay.
hope he will have a great experience
Yeah, it's a little weird for a parent to think that, but sure.
because his life is very different than any other 18, 19-year-old child.
I think like maybe Prince Harry might have a thing or two to say about that, or perhaps the Obama's kids, maybe even Hunter Biden. You know what I mean?
Moved to tears in your book when I read about the loss of your mother, and you said this about her loss. There is an unparalleled sorrow in losing a mother, a profound heartache that shatters the spirit into fragments. For me, this heartache feels insurmountable, and the weight of grief is overwhelming.
Oh, Ainsley. By the way, all joking aside, loss of a parent, loss of a relative, an untouchable area, I will skip past this segment.
It does feel insurmountable sometimes, and let me be strong, but what advice do you have? Because I remember when my mom lost my grandmother, it was devastating, and it really separated her from God for a while. She came back to God. She just had a lot of questions because she felt like he took someone that was so special to her away from all of us. But it made my faith stronger. But what advice do you have for people that are going through this?
I would advise them to not do this interview near the elevator when you're talking about serious stuff.
To lose a parent.
Well, it's a very a moment that nobody prepares you. And it's a grief that comes in waves, and you need to feel it. You need to have that inner peace to go with it.
All right, I'm going to be tempted to make comments, and therefore I will not, because
very kind notes. Thank you to everybody who wrote me, who thought about me and my family. And
your mom would cook for him, and that's probably
incredible. In Slovenia, she established a life for myself and for my sister. Incredible life, also my father, but her strength was admirable. And once Baron was born, he was her focus. She moved here to United States to be close to him, and
by the way, she and Barron moved in with her mother, and he finished school in fucking Baltimore. They never went anywhere near Mar-a-Lago unless it was for a paid event. I'm gonna skip past again. I don't want to. I don't even want to crest in the idea of talking about
put the record straight.
The death they've been through,
and people can learn some things that they were never discussed. And I hope
this is why she wrote the book. Hold on, back up. Sorry.
Written about me. It's my story. They had an incredible bond. Her and Baron, it was a relationship like no other.
Why did you want to tell?
Okay, here's the edit. So they just left out. They gave Ainsley a chance to clean herself up. And again, in all seriousness, when someone loses someone, I don't care if I disagree with them politically or they're just kind of, even in general, a shitty person. You give that person space for that experience, if that's cool with you guys. Just how I choose to live. I'm not judging you if you go someplace.
Tell your story in this book.
I believe that it was the time.
The children are our future, and fuck the Christmas.
That I tell my story and the truth. It is a lot of misinformation and falsehoods written about me.
Yeah. Well, not so much about you, about the three women who pretend to be you at social events when you don't feel like going.
And I want to put the record straight.
Great. So dates and times and receipts and stuff, so we know it was actually you and not a body double. That's going to be important.
And people can learn some things that they were never discussed. And I hope they enjoy the book.
How did you feel about Donald Trump running again?
I support him. I know how passionate he is to
And it keeps him away.
make America great again.
We saw you backstage at the RNC. Do you want to talk about why you decided not to come out on stage and give a speech like you did?
Yeah, do you want to? Why? It's his time, really. You know what I mean? A woman shouldn't invade on the man's work.
In 2016?
It was my decision. I think was
Yeah, we know. She just established that as the reality. It was the why it was your decision is the thing.
just the time. I think was the right time. In days before, I wrote a beautiful letter to America.
Yes.
Yeah, you did. I got to say, I've written a lot of letters in my life. I've never described any of my own letters as beautiful, but I'm going to start. By the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. I'm Hal Sparks, who can Hal Sparks like nobody else can Hal Sparks. And this is my beautiful live stream. I don't know if you know this, but I'm making right now, and also will make and have made a beautiful live stream for you today. Is okay? Yes, wonderful.
And I think in one way that letter was my speech.
The raid on
Yeah, you didn't need to make a speech. I mean, a letter's fine, really. You know, they get it. They get it.
Mar-a-Lago, the house manager texts you and says the FBI is outside the house. They had access to my
And you went, house, fuck off.
bedroom, closets, office, and rummaged through my personal items. Even searched Barron's room, you say. So how invasive was that? Did it make you angry? How did you feel?
Yeah,
Were you angry at Trump for putting you in that situation?
it made me angry. Yes, invasion of privacy, and the way it was done.
Yeah, I thought it was a bad form to have them have Stormy Daniels actually come in and do the rummaging.
I was really surprised.
And you told your house manager, just leave it, don't touch anything, don't put it back. You wanted to see it for your own eyes. With your own eyes, what did it look like when you walked back in your house that had been raided?
I saw unpleasant stuff that nobody wants to see it.
You mean stuff that Trump had hidden in your drawers?
And you get angry because, nobody should be putting up with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so you're going to divorce him because he's the one who got you, in a situation where the FBI had to raid your home, and it's not really even a home. Has he explained why you don't have a house?
Some person, I don't even know who or how many people, they went through my stuff.
So
Yeah, through your stuff. Fuck me. Through your stuff.
assassination attempts, the first one is in Butler, Pennsylvania. And
Oh, dear God.
you write about
on
watching
this.
the assassination attempt on TV.
You watched the assassination attempt on TV. I'm guessing a replay.
And you started working and you were distracted, so you pushed pause. I think your chief of staff maybe called you and said, he's okay, but there's been a shooting.
Oh, so sorry. She was watching, allegedly, she was watching the speech because they're magic, and she had paused it and didn't see the assassination attempt until they told her, and she unpaused it. Maybe she paused it right at that moment? Right as it was about to be shot, how is that? It's funny because only someone involved would have that kind of timing, I think.
What happened next?
I ran to the TV and I rewound it and I watched it. I was only a few minutes behind, and something, I guess.
So you rewound it to something that was in the future. So you watched it several times. Wasn't because you had like a prurient joy in watching it at all or anything. It seems a little
over me, so I didn't really see live, but maybe, 3 minutes, few minutes later. But when I saw it, it was only, nobody really knew yet,
Right.
because when you see him on the floor and...
No, you knew. They told you he was fine. You watched, he had already, by the time you saw the television, he had already been removed and they knew he was okay. You just told us Fuck me. You just told us that someone called you, you weren't watching, and they said, everybody's fine, there's been a shooting, which by the way, there wasn't. There was a dead firefighter and 2 gravely injured other members of the, but Trump himself was okay. He had a nick on his ear from a piece of glass from the teleprompter, but you'd already been told that. It was minutes after he had been removed from the site. He was already in the car talking to RFK Jr.
You don't know what really happened.
You know exactly what happened. You got a call from people who were there.
So you called him and he didn't answer his phone.
No, he's busy talking to RFK Jr. for 3 hours.
And you called Secret Service. And what did they say?
First, the Secret Service was not available too because they were with him, right? And then after that, I got the Secret Service on the phone and they said that he's okay. We are.
So he didn't have them call you right away? Because he knew it would be on TV. He didn't go, call my wife, call my son, call my other kids, let them know I'm okay, let them know that, no injuries, no major injuries, so I don't want them to worry for a second. That never occurred to him till later. So the Secret Service you had to think that up, and then, okay.
On the way to the hospital, he will be okay.
And were you able to talk to him on the phone eventually?
Yes, I did.
And then your son rushes into the room.
Yes.
And he had been told, your son is in college, I understand, but he's still your child. This is his father. How
we think
difficult was that to have that conversation
Very
with him?
difficult. Very
about whether or not it's really his father, or
difficult. He was outside playing sport.
Yeah, that's what Yeah. I mean, you know how when you're in those situations, like everything freezes and all the details just get seared into your memory, and you're like, I remember where I was exactly. He was outside playing sport, alone, but also with people.
And he rushed in.
Yeah, well, as you do when you're playing sport.
And was very, very difficult.
Why are you smiling?
And then a few weeks later, there's another attempt on your husband's life at your golf course.
Oh, it's hers now? She got it in the divorce? Congratulations. I mean, if I was her, I would probably take the California one. Even though it's a public course, it's a nicer area. There's obviously mudslides in the area, which is why Trump got it on, for cheap or whatever. And the West Palm Beach one is ass, but...
Where were you, and what was your reaction to this attempt?
Yeah. Where were you? At this point, did you even bother to call?
I was in New York City, actually.
Playing sport?
And I saw it on the television. And as soon as I saw it on television, I called again. And he was okay because Secret Service were great. The guys that they were with him, they were fantastic. And I think both of the events, they were really miracles.
No, I gotta say, the second one, they were 2 holes ahead of him because that's what they're supposed to fucking do. Not a miracle, just them doing the legit job. I mean, it's a miracle that this asshole thinks people will be impressed by that golf course. Maybe that's what it is. But the first one was, I would leave miracle out of it because somebody died and 2 other people were gravely injured, and it will change the course of their lives. So I would just leave the word fucking miracle out of your mouth because it's creepy.
If you really think about it,
I did think about it. I'm thinking about it right now. All of us are thinking about it. It's not a miracle.
July 13 was a miracle.
No, it wasn't. By the way, Corey Comparator's family probably has Fox News on the regular. They might even be tuning in. I wouldn't doubt that Corey's wife watched this. I would just not call it a fucking miracle. Right? Just find another way to phrase it.
Like that much, and he could not be with us.
Yeah, and that much Corey Comparator would be.
And he normally doesn't call for that one screen. He waits.
Oh my fucking God, he does too. The only thing they can run on is immigration, he thinks right now. That's why he brought it up in the beginning, because he's a bigoted fuck.
Till the end of the speech. So just looking at that screen.
Gibberish. It had nothing to do with when he just turned his head. The dude would have fucking whizzed right through his hair. He'd have a scratch on the back of his head instead of a clipped ear because the dude was on top of a fucking roof firing quickly because a cop had already seen him.
Allowed him to turn his head.
Yeah.
And he said it was providential. Does this make you believe in it more in a higher power? How has that been for you?
I think something was watching over him. I think he's...
Yes, the Lord wanted him to survive so that he could lose the election to the brown lady and then spend the next year and a half in court and the rest of his life in jail. Yeah, and the name Trump could go right down with like Mud and John Wilkes Booth and Benedict Arnold.
It's almost like country really needs him.
It is. It's like that. Or
That maybe God's sparing his life.
Yeah.
yes, it's like God sparing his life, but obviously God has a thing about firefighters.
Yes.
And then we were told this week, and we were told that authorities have already known this for a while, that there was an Iranian plot to kill your husband. So I watched this video that you released on social media.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, this more belongs in the AI category, but sure.
Questioning the first assassination attempt. For the second one, if they knew that there was this plot, why didn't they sweep the golf course?
Dude, does she want me to actually say it? Does she want me to get mad? Is that why she's saying this? Is why she's asking this question? And go, because he didn't inform the Secret Service that he was going down there. He just flippantly decided, I'm going to go golfing, fuck you. And he just decided to leave, so they didn't have time to do it because he just doesn't care. He can't plan things because he's an egomaniacal dipshit. Maybe that's why. And even then, the Secret Service stays 2 holes ahead of him so they can scan the area. And that's exactly why they were able to see the guy and run him off.
You know, it's interesting.
It is. It is. It is. It's interesting.
How quiet and everything became, all of
Yeah. So it's interesting how quiet.
the mainstream media. There were a few days reporting about July 13 event, and everything then became quiet. So
Not so much. There was a whole big RNC, DNC thing, and your husband picked his running mate who turned out to be a complete fucking disaster. And then Biden stepped down and Kamala Harris became the top of the ticket. And then she picked somebody. It's been, what's the word? Busy.
I had a lot of questions. What's going on?
That's a good question. You should ask someone that. Do you know anybody in the Secret Service? Because I could probably dig up a phone number for you.
This is not normal. And
Yes, I agree. But it does involve your husband, so.
And is it really shocking that all this egregious violence goes against my husband?
I mean, I'm sure women feel the same way about his hands and his gropiness coming from him. You know what I mean? Like,
Especially,
is it weird that all this violence is coming from him towards women? Is my point.
that we hear the leaders from the opposition party and mainstream media branding him as a threat to democracy.
Yeah, but that's because he led an insurrection, a failed one. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't a real insurrection. It was a shitty, cartoonishly bad version of one, but still, nonetheless, a failed insurrection, kind of like, a failed casino is still a casino technically.
Calling him vile names, they only fueling a toxic atmosphere.
Oh, yeah? So Trump shouldn't call Kamala Harris a communist, fascist, Marxist, threat to democracy, and yeah.
And giving power all of these people that they want to do harm to him. This
giving power to all these people who want to do harm to him. She doesn't, maybe she doesn't know. You do realize that these two people both, one of them was going to vote for your husband and the other one had already.
It needs to stop. This
I agree. I think probably ending his campaign would be the easiest
needs
way.
to stop. The country needs to unite. And I encourage everybody to read my letter that I wrote on July 14 again, because
It's a beautiful letter. It is. And it's way better than a speech. You're right. Yeah.
that cannot continue.
No, that letter? No. Look how happy. Look at the contented, smiling face when talking about the near assassination of her husband and the letter she wrote the day after. Look at the face. Look at the subtle cues. It's like she's breathing it in deep.
Letter was very powerful. What made you?
It was super powerful. I mean, I didn't read it, but I assume it was. It had to have been. I mean, yeah, it's basically, it's like any of Michelle Obama's letters, with a couple of minor changes.
Did you get to the point of writing that letter?
That's how I felt.
Yeah, I felt like writing a letter.
That's how I felt.
I felt like writing a letter. Yeah.
How do you feel when people say they don't like him? What do you wish they knew about him?
Yeah, like what do you say to Stormy Daniels or Michael Cohen or any of the 40 people who worked with him who think he's disgusting? What do you want them to know? What could flip that in their mind? What could take a Hal Spark, somebody who thinks he's a shitheel and a adjudicated rapist and grotesquely incompetent and a terrible businessman and basically turned his dad's, actual real estate empire into a branding exercise, which is and then drove the brand into the fucking ground and has been a lifelong loser? What would you say to somebody like me that would change my mind? You know him.
That he is really a family man.
You mean like Manson family or like kind of a Branch Davidian kind of a thing?
He loves his family.
Oh, good. Okay. You get points for that now, do you? That's special? That's something that's oh, I ought to try that. What's that like? Yeah, I never thought of. Shit, I have family. Why don't I? You know what? Thanks for that, Queen of Slovenia. I'm gonna try loving my family. That's what it's called. It's a very weird thing. And in what way? I mean, we're not talking about like when he puts his hands on Melania or on Ivanka's ass, right? We're not talking about that, right?
He loves this country.
Oh, okay. Are you filming in the United States right now? Because am I supposed to, how am I supposed to know you're not actually in Russia?
And all he wants to build better. And
Yeah. All right. Shit. I take it all back. All he wants is to build better.
prosperous.
Yeah, build better and prosperous. Sure. So that everybody can have shitty curlicue French furniture spray painted to make it look like you're a nouveau riche dickhead.
Yeah, he's just strong. He's not afraid.
Yeah, he's not. Hold on there, Ainsley. She's the one who's in a relationship allegedly with him. You ask her. You don't get to fill in the blanks unless. Oh, wait a second. Ainsley, have you been in a relationship with Trump too?
No, he's not.
Talk
Trump.
about the way
you
it
could
really
see
is.
the way he was when he was shot, that in the ear, that the way he stood up and he said, fight, 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 because
he didn't even know who had done it. And at that point, it would find out later that it was a registered Republican. Fight the rhinos, I guess.
cannot allow that to happen.
Okay, but
It did, though. And allow what to happen? What's the fighting part? How are you going to fight that? Who are you fighting?
coming First Lady, you wrote in the book when you found out
God, I'm so over
you were
this.
watching Fox News
Oh dear. All right, I'm done. I got to go eat something, and the family's coming over, and we're gonna have cake and that kind of shit. And I've got 5 minutes before we're supposed to eat cake, and I've been hanging out with you guys because I love you and you're wonderful. Hit the like, subscribe, share the show. Oh God, now it's staged. I wouldn't doubt it. Yes, we are all dumber for having listened to that. Literally, I feel like I know I'm not getting a nosebleed, but I have the kind of sensation that you get from a nosebleed, right? After listening to her talk about this. I've never heard someone talk in such generic terms about their loved ones.